In the beginning, Tatsuki was sitting on a train beside a girl and thinking that the person next to him looked so tough. She had a wolf cut, piercings, and a sharp look. He thought that if he got involved with her, he would probably get beaten up. He decided that he definitely wasn't going to get involved with her and would simply erase his presence. He then tried to make himself as unnoticeable as possible. However, the girl looked at him and seemed like she was about to say something. Tatsuki tried to ignore her, but he soon began trembling. He wondered if she had just spoken to him. Since the voice had come from beside him, he hoped it wasn't directed at him and silently wished she would just leave him alone. Instead of saying anything, the girl simply stared straight at him. Seeing her gaze fixed on him, Tatsuki thought that she looked tough and scary. He felt like she had locked onto him. He then wondered if he had done something wrong and became convinced that he was going to be killed. Unable to bear the tension, he quietly murmured, "I'm sorry," as he instinctively apologized. To his surprise, the girl also murmured softly, asking "help me," while trying to hide her face. The scene then shifted, and Tatsuki was shown standing up and asking if she was feeling okay. The girl was now sitting on a bench and thanked him for helping her. Tatsuki thought that although she had seemed scary, he couldn't simply ignore someone who needed help. He then asked why she had asked him for help. The girl replied that she didn't want to say. Tatsuki then asked why. In his mind, he thought that a scary person had set her sights on him, so he decided that he would just give her some water and go home as quickly as possible. He then handed her a bottle of water, saying, "Here's some water." The girl continued staring at him before saying, "I am deeply grateful," as she bowed respectfully. Seeing her reaction, Tatsuki thought that she was like a samurai. He then realized that although she looked tough and scary, she might actually be a proper person. The girl then tried to drink the water, but it all splashed down. Seeing this, Tatsuki thought that she was spilling so much water, even though she had such a sharp-looking face. The girl immediately apologized, saying, "I'm so sorry." Tatsuki then asked if her uniform was okay. The girl stood up and said that she would go buy another bottle of water. Tatsuki tried to stop her, insisting that he would go buy it instead. However, the girl suddenly fell down. Seeing this, Tatsuki realized that she had tripped. The scene then shifted to the vending machine. As the girl tried to insert a coin, all of her coins slipped from her hands and fell to the ground. Watching the scene unfold, Tatsuki thought, "Ah, the money." It went underneath. He realized that she was incredibly clumsy. Although she had looked tough and scary, this person was nothing like he had imagined. The girl then admitted that she was bad at living. She explained that there were many things she couldn't do compared to other people and apologized for it. At that moment, Tatsuki realized just how different the girl actually was from the image he had formed of her. He thought that although she looked tough and scary, she was actually clumsy, awkward, and frail. Feeling confused, he then thought that she looked tough but wasn't actually tough at all. The only thing that seemed intimidating about her was her face. The girl went on to explain that she couldn't even ride the train properly and that she had ended up feeling sick that day. She added that commuting during school hours was especially difficult for her. Tatsuki repeated, "Train?" The girl explained that she was bad with crowds, especially trains during school hours. She said that if she didn't stay alert, she would become nervous and panic. By the time she arrived at her destination, she was always exhausted. Even traveling just 2 stations felt incredibly long to her. She admitted that she was too scared to ride the train alone. Things that everyone else could do naturally were difficult for her, and she felt pathetic for not being able to handle them skillfully. As she tried to take another drink, she ended up spilling all the water again. Watching her, Tatsuki thought that she had spilled it again while still wearing such a cool expression. The girl then started coughing. Concerned, Tatsuki asked if she was okay and handed her a tissue, telling her to use it. As he looked at her, Tatsuki suddenly thought that she was cute. The girl apologized again, saying that she was just so pathetic. Tatsuki then apologized for misunderstanding her. The girl looked surprised and responded, "Eh?" Tatsuki explained that he had a hard time dealing with people who looked tough. He admitted that he wasn't very good with them and that he had assumed she might be a scary person as well. Tatsuki then said that after seeing her clumsy side, he thought that maybe she wasn't the kind of person he had assumed she was. In his mind, he thought that although she looked tough and scary, she actually wasn't. She was simply trying her best to overcome her clumsiness. He admitted that he couldn't express it very well, but the parts of herself that she considered flaws were actually things he thought were nice. He added that it was just his personal opinion. The girl then looked straight at Tatsuki. Feeling intimidated, Tatsuki immediately backed down and apologized, saying that he was sorry for saying something like that to someone who was seriously troubled. At the same time, he thought that she was scary. Gathering her courage, the girl quietly thanked him. Seeing her reaction, Tatsuki realized that although she looked tough, she was actually trembling. Curious, Tatsuki asked why she was trembling, even though he himself was trembling as well. The girl explained that it was the first time anyone had ever said something like that to her, and she apologized once again. Hearing that, Tatsuki blushed. He then realized that although she looked tough and scary, there was much more to her than met the eye. Just then, an announcement informed everyone that the train would be arriving shortly. The girl stood up and said that they should head to school soon. Tatsuki agreed. The girl then declared that she would definitely repay the debt someday. Hearing the way she spoke, Tatsuki thought that it sounded like some kind of grand revelation. He then asked if she thought she could ride the train. The girl confidently replied that it would be no problem. Watching her, Tatsuki thought that she was trembling despite wearing such a tough expression. The girl then added that, at worst, she would walk to school from now on. Hearing that, Tatsuki thought that she would definitely end up being late. He then wondered if there was anything he could do. If only he could transform into a car, he thought. He could give her a ride without her having to worry about crowds. The scene humorously showed that Tatsuki was completely losing his mind. However, the girl simply said that although she was useless, she wanted to keep trying her best, and that she would continue to do so. Hearing those words, Tatsuki blushed. The girl then said that she would wash the handkerchief and return it to him. Tatsuki quickly told her not to worry about it. The girl then said goodbye. Before she could leave, Tatsuki called out to her and introduced himself as Hitoshi Tatsuki. He then asked if he could know her name. By then, the girl was already inside the train. She introduced herself as Nita. At the same time, the announcement stated that the doors were closing and asked passengers to be careful. Just then, Nita's skirt became caught in the train door. Seeing this, Tatsuki thought that her skirt had gotten caught. As the train departed, Tatsuki thought, she's gonna. He then reflected that he should have gotten to know Nita better and wondered if they would ever meet again.